we're going to be reviewing Halloween. This movie, it's a classic. It really is. Like, Michael Myers, like, you when you watch this movie, you get why he is such an iconic character. Like, he is just pretty freaking scary, and I see the potential. But the actual movie, I didn't love that much. I really didn't. I gave it like a 2.5 out of 5 stars, and I'm pretty picky on Letterboxd. The music was cool. I think the music was pretty scary. But the actual, like, acting and, like, the storyline, nothing, like, spooked me. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, that's so scary. Because usually sometimes when it's, like, an older movie, like, it's scary because it's older and it's kind of crappy. And, like, you can make stuff like that pretty scary. And it just didn't really get me. It was fine. It was like Friday the 13th in my mind. Like, it was, like, the same kind of thing. I think Friday the 13th, honestly, might be a little bit better. I don't know. They're about the same. This might be a little bit better. Dr. Loomis, pretty funny. I know he wasn't supposed to be funny, but he was pretty funny. He's, like, scaring the freaking kids and whatever. I don't know. He was goofy. I know he shows up in the other Halloween movies, so I gotta watch those. Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie, I believe, is the character's name. She was a pretty good final girl, but the actual movie was fine. Like, and I know this movie came out, like, a decade later, but Nightmare on Elm Street was, like, miles beyond this. And it was just, like, yeah, like, the only scare, or the only, like, kill that, like, really was, like, whoa, that was crazy, was when he, like, kind of put the knife in him through the freaking cabinet, or, like, into the wall, and he was, like, hanging there. Like, I thought that was pretty freaking scary, and, like, when the guy's, like, swinging around, like, that was pretty scary, but it didn't, like, get me. And I think it's just because, like, it's just kind of outdated. So, like, stuff that, like, scared, like, a younger, like, the older generation, like, isn't going to scare people now because we're used to a higher quality of things. I don't know. I know I do want to watch, like, the rebooted version, like, the 2018 film, and then I know they had, like, 2 sequels past that. There's, like, Halloween, and then Halloween Kills, and then, like, I know some of the plot of, like, the newer movies, so that kind of sucks that I know that already, but I probably next year I will do a video on those movies, just because I already have seen this, so I would love to do a video on those, but overall, like, the movie's fine. I wouldn't say, like, it's a classic and you need to watch it. It's, like, it's a classic, so if you, like, kind of want to watch a classic and, like, aren't expecting, like, anything crazy, then this is fun. But I do want to watch, like, Halloween 2 and, like, whatever, so we'll see if we get to it, but this was fine. Nothing crazy. Trying to think if I have anything else in my notes. You can see why the franchise goes for a really long time, just because you can do a lot with a character that doesn't talk and is just that physically intimidating. But yeah, I don't know. I really like Nightmare on Elm Street. So while we're talking about that, let's get into my tier list on Halloween movies. So this is my tier list, and there's a lot of Halloween movies that are on here, and let me just preference, the honorable mentions are movies that I have seen bits and pieces of. I don't consider full-on Halloween movies, or I haven't seen them in a really long time. Like, I haven't seen Ghostbusters 2 in a really long time. I just recently watched Ghostbusters. Pretty freaking good film. But, like, the Scooby-Doo, I don't really count. Those are, like, its own kind of thing. And, like, this tier list didn't have, like, the second Conjuring and all that. That kind of sucks. But Hocus Pocus sucks. It is so... It's just odd. It's just so freaking weird to me. And it's just... It just was not freaking enjoyable. I don't get the appeal at all. I know people are kind of like, oh my gosh, like, this is so weird, so fun. No, it's not good. So I'm not even gonna waste my time on that. D tier, scary movie, not my thing. I watched Scary Movie for the first time with my girlfriend. I don't think that's kind of our vibe of a movie. If I watched it with my friends, I think I would think that's really funny, because I know one of my friends, Manny, watched it with, like, a few of my other friends and his family, and they were cracking up hysterically. And I definitely see why. But watching it with my girlfriend, it just wasn't that interesting. But I do think there was parts of it I was like, oh, that's actually pretty funny. That was pretty cool. It was meh. The Purge, again, there's a certain audience for it. It's not my thing. It really is not my thing. I do get it, but it's not my thing. Goosebumps, again, kind of kiddish movie. So I was a little bit older when this came out. So really wasn't my favorite. And I think it was just, again, kind of weird. Not my thing. Talking about kind of weird, Shaun of the Dead. There's a freaking audience that absolutely loves this. And like, film-wise, I do see how like it's really, really cool. Like there's a one take that Shaun is walking through the street and everybody is alive. And then he does the same kind of walkthrough, but everybody turns into a zombie. So like, it's actually really cool that way. But as just a film, it just doesn't do anything for me. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I think it was a book series, and I went to go see it, I think with my friends. This movie was garbage. Very odd, which is kind of cool for a horror movie. But it got to a point where it was so weird that it was a lot. Then we go into C tier, Friday the 13th. Again, I said, it's cool, but when you don't see the killer for most of it, it's like, whatever. And then, it just didn't, again, it didn't really, like, spook me. Like, it wasn't that scary, so it was like, The Great Pumpkin, it's fine. It's a classic. B tier, Casper. I did watch this. I don't know if, I feel like I've seen it before, but no, I didn't have it, like, in my memory. It was pretty good. I didn't think I'd like it. I thought it was pretty good. Carrie, I watched for the first time, I believe, last year. I thought that was a pretty cool, pretty scary Halloween horror movie. Thought that was pretty great. Halloween, again, as I said, not crazy. I'd say it's B tier for Halloween movies. A tier, Ghostbusters, pretty freaking great. I did not realize how bad some of the acting is in this movie, and I get it's like comedy, but like it's like, I don't know, it just seems kind of odd on a rewatch recently. I don't know why, but meh. I haven't seen Monster House in a while, but I know that movie is absolutely incredible. I'm tempted to move that up to S tier. In fact, I will. Monster House is absolutely astounding. If you haven't seen it before, go watch it. Nightmare on Elm Street, as I was saying before, Nightmare on Elm Street, it just has so many fun kills. Like, it is not generic by any sorts. It's so goofy. I know it was made on a really, really low budget, and it kind of, like, saved the studio. And it has, like... Oh, sorry. My fault, Mike. My bad. It has Johnny Depp in it, which is really cool. But, like, some of the kills are just so creative and so funny. And you can see these people just had a really fun time with this. Freddy Krueger is pretty freaking scary. And, like, just the concept is really cool. Like, a guy that's going to haunt you in your freaking dreams and then comes into real life. And it's a cool concept. So watching that for the first time last year was really cool. Halloween Town, again, a classic, but it's pretty freaking good for, like, a kid's movie. Halloween Town's great. The Conjuring, I watched The Conjuring and Conjuring 2 with two of my friends for the first time. We were on, like, Discord, and we, like, all, like, rented it, and we all played it. Or I don't know how we watched it, but I can't remember. I believe I thought the first one was a better story. Or no, I don't know. I think the first one was scarier, but the second one was a better story. The first one has really good jump scares. I think the second one's a lot more psychological, kind of like whatever. But like, there's a few parts I was like, oh, that's kind of like, that's funny, kind of funny. Like the ghosts were kind of like funny, weird, but they're still kind of scary. But like the first one, that one freaking gets me. And you're not gonna catch me watching freaking Annabelle. I'm not watching that crap. And I'm going to say that now, and then next year or the year afterwards, I'm going to do a video on freaking Annabelle, of course. I hate dolls, so don't fool with me with dolls. I don't wanna freaking do that. But again, The Conjuring, pretty good. Monster House, great. It, absolutely incredible. I love it. I haven't seen it in a while, so I do think I'm gonna watch that tomorrow. So yeah, what a freaking film. It's just Bill Skarsgård is incredible, and there's just some of like the back of the behind the scenes footage, and you see him like spitting up and whatever, and then he just makes sure the kids are. He's like, "Are you alright? I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I spit on you. Like, are you okay?" Like, he makes sure the kids are alright when he's just in their face, like being like creepy. But he's scary, and again, like the horror is just like so creative, and I think that's what makes horror movies so good. Or Halloween movies, or whatever you want to say. What makes them so good is just how creative they can get. And talking about creative, this is why I did a video on this. If you want to go check it out on my other channel, Geeko, where I talk about movies and TV shows. Coraline is so good. The stop motion is incredible. I know they have a new film, I think, coming out next year or the year afterwards. So I have to watch the trailer on that. But yeah, but Coraline is so good. Like, I just rewatched it, and I did a whole video on it and a theory on it. If you want to go check that out, it's really cool. But it's just so creative. I just keep freaking repeating myself. It's amazing. The Other Mother is creepy, and it's weird, and it's visually amazing, and just the concept of it is just so cool. And like, there's so many different theories on it, and there's so many different like breakdowns of like what the movie means to other people, and I just think that's so cool that a movie like that can do that for people. And I think that's why I love movies and TV shows, is people breaking it down in so many different ways, and in just appreciating the effort that all of the people it took to put this together. I just really appreciate that, and it's just a really solid, really good film.